Breakfast does not feature in my life most of the times. I am either on an intermittent fasting cycle where I am not eating for 16 hours and eating for 8 hours. I try to avoid maida and refined sugar as much as I can, unless it's a holiday or a cheat day or something. I've completely turned vegetarian now, and I intend to stick to it. Let's see how that goes. So to tone the body, honestly, the best thing to do is weight training because that's what gives you the results in terms of appearance the fastest. My mom introduced me to yoga years back when I totally laughed it off and I said, please, it's too early to do all this and it's very boring and I can't do this.
Joining me today is a very, very special guest. We have Kritika Kamra, who we last saw on Amazon stand-up. Do you have a morning routine or a ritual that you swear by as soon as you wake up?
I have some water with lime in it, some lemon juice in it. That's something that I do. If I'm shooting, I'll have a coffee and I only take black coffee. But if I'm not, like these days, I'm really trying to avoid that. So I'm not doing that coffee in the morning.
For your breakfast, when you do have the time and luxury to have breakfast, are you one of those people who likes a consistent breakfast every day?
Breakfast does not feature in my life most of the times because so there are two things that I do. I am either on an intermittent fasting cycle where I am not eating for 16 hours and eating for 8 hours, which basically when I do that, I take a lot of liquids and everything. I break my fast with a bunch of with like a handful of nuts, and I straight have my lunch. So there's no breakfast. The other thing that I do is now luckily for me, I live with my brother who is a diet curator. I do keto with him. Not as consistently as him. For him, it's a lifestyle. But for me, I do it sometimes as in I do it for like a month or 2 months. I am not as disciplined as him, so I'm not able to sustain. But it's done me good. It's done him good, and I don't mean just like fat loss from a fat loss perspective. So sometimes I do that, and the other times I'm on intermittent fasting. So breakfast is not really.
You know, Neha, whenever you get into I'm talking about the phase when you probably thought that, okay, fine, if he's insisting, let's try this relationship out. As a girl or a woman, you know, you are little, and especially if you have had a bad phase earlier, you make it a point, at least in your head, that you won't repeat the same mistakes, perhaps, which you did in the past relationships.
Yes.
Was there anything at all which was a clear no-no? Like, you know, I'm taking a reference from a movie which is to come right now, Thappad, jahan pe it's like, you know, that girl takes a stand saying that he cannot hit me.
Correct, physical violence.
That was like the thing for her.
Correct.
Whether you're in love, you're not in love, doesn't matter, you cannot hit me.
Correct.
So, was there anything, that one thing which was a deal breaker for you?
Oh, there are a lot of deal breakers. Why one?
Yeah. No, but because I'm sure there must be a lot, but because you're entering into a new relationship, you just make sure in your head that, like, you know, I will never let that thing happen to me again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, although in my past relationships, physical violence is something that I never endured. But yes, that is a no-brainer and something which need not even be mentioned, that a physical or a domestic violence is a strict no and an absolute deal breaker. But I think that being a very serious subject, besides that also, I believe day-to-day things also, there are a lot of things. Like, for example, I've always been a very career-oriented woman.
Yeah.
I would want a man to appreciate that. It is my decision that I want to slow down. But tomorrow, if let's say great opportunities are coming my way and I have sacrificed a couple of months by not working for that great opportunity, I'm not going to stop that.
Right.
You know, so with Shardul, I think I don't even think I had to mention it to him that I'm always going to be a career-oriented woman. So I think even being able to work, I think was a biggest thing, and I think also respecting individuality, because we both of us are very different individuals. He's someone who will get up aram se in the morning. I'm still the 6 a.m. girl. He loves to socialize. He loves to parties. He loves to mingle, and I'm none of that. And
Opposite attracts,
absolutely. We are like like
Poles apart.
poles
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
But I think that's where it comes through, where I don't tell him that dude don't party, and he doesn't tell me that dude don't work.
Yeah.
So
Respecting each other's space, basically.
Absolutely, and I think that's very important.
Right. And what, do you remember the time when he proposed? What was going on in your head at that time? And what made you finally say yes? Like, कि अच्छा ठीक है, चलो, let's do it. Apart
जिस
from
तरीके से प्रपोज किया था ना, बेरहम लड़की होगी जो मना करेगी. I was like, so what happened was it was a.
I have always felt too bad, and I have sort of beaten myself up about it. There are times I would do workouts and I end up vomiting because my body is not able to take it, but my mind is ready. So I think the best way is, again, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, and the fact that you gotta love yourself. I'm not kidding. There are times my wrists are really weak, so there are times I hold my wrist close to my heart and say, it's okay, you did your best. And I couldn't do like 1 push-up, and I can do like 25 now. That's only because of what I have fed my body and my mind, is that I love it. I love it no matter what it can do for me. It stood by me, and I'm gonna stand by it. It's a very vicious circle, so there is no way I can, even I'm battling it right now. So I can just tell you that there is no sure shot one advice that I can give you. It's just that your happiness and your peace of mind matters the most, so be selfish about it. Do not expose yourself to people who constantly tell you this, because you can get into a zone of being comfortable in that environment. I was comfortable in a certain environment where people kept sort of degrading themselves. It's like, I'm so fat, yeah, I just don't like my body, I was so stuck in that sort of a team, like a group of people. And I sort of ruthlessly plucked myself out of there. I was like, not you guys anymore. I'm sorry, you guys seem happy in your space, but I think I need to get myself away. And I started hanging out with people who didn't ever degrade themselves in their own head. So I started changing the conversations in my head. And one of the best things my therapist told me was, if you have to choose your eating partner like you choose your partner for life. You cannot go eat food, which is such a divine thing. You're feeding yourself, with somebody who would look at your plate and judge what you're eating. So I usually eat alone these days. And if I eat with somebody, I make sure that it's somebody who's not going to look at my plate and like, oh, so you're having 3 chapatis? I'm like, just F off. I don't need you to eat with me. It's a beautiful process of just being comfortable and feeding your soul and your body. And I choose people with whom I eat very, very carefully. So start from there maybe. I hope whatever I shared about my journey in being fit and healthy connects with you, resonates with you, and just know that being an actor or being a model or being a public personality does not make you safe from any of these battles. We are all going through the same things. So I wouldn't quite say that just follow my advice and tips. I would say find your own peace of mind, find your own space of happiness, and each one will find their own formula to get working or get happy in a world which is just stuffing us with all these ideas of who we should be. So all the best for that, and I would love it if you would go and watch my movie that's coming out on the 10th of November. It's called